bringing you the resolution to honor National Hispanic and Latina Heritage Month, which will begin September 15th and go through the October 15th. It is to honor significant contributions made and the importance and presence of Latinos in the United States. We have our staff will provide educational programs, make an effort to integrate this rich heritage in their history, and Sarah will review just briefly on what we're doing.
Yeah. Teachers will have access to our OUSD created resources to celebrate the many different cultures from all of the Latin countries, North America, South America, Spain, and really just helping children recognize diversity within Orinda and outside of Orinda as well.
Thank you. We will read this out loud before we vote on it. Etta, can you start?
Of course.
Whereas Orinda Union School District is honored to join members of our community and citizens throughout the U.S. in recognizing September 15th, 2026 as the start of the National Hispanic and Latina Heritage Month, and
whereas Hispanic Heritage Week began in 1968 under President Lyndon Johnson and was expanded by President Ronald Reagan and enacted into law in 1988 to cover a 30-day period starting on September 15th. The day which represents the anniversary of independence from 5 Latin American countries. And
whereas during the 2026 National Hispanic and Latina Heritage Month, we honor the significant contributions made and the important presence of Latinos to the United States and Orinda Union School District, and celebrate the richness of Hispanic and Latina heritage and culture. And
whereas the U.S. Census Bureau estimates that Hispanic and Latino Americans comprise 20.5% of the United States population and 41.2% of the population of the state of California. And
whereas Hispanic and Latina Americans comprise 28.7% of Contra Costa County's population, 50% of OUSD's employees, and 8.8% of the OUSD student population during the 2025-2026 school year. And
whereas the district has committed to eliminating barriers to achievement within the district and to identify and correct practices and policies that negatively influence student learning, perpetuate opportunity gaps, and impede equal access to opportunities for all students. And
whereas district curriculum development seeks to introduce multiple perspectives into the curriculum and include diverse texts. And
whereas our staff will provide educational programs and teachers make an effort to integrate Hispanic and Latina history into the curriculum this month and beyond. And
whereas acknowledging the courageous fight for the rights, liberties, and freedoms of all Americans, the Orinda Union School District Board of Trustees encourages educators, students, and families to learn about Hispanic Heritage History Month and the heritage and achievements of Hispanic and Latina Americans. And
therefore, be it resolved that the Orinda Union School District Board of Trustees do hereby adopt this resolution to honor September 15th, 2026 through October 15th, 2026 as Hispanic and Latina Heritage Month. Thank you. I appreciate that this is on the agenda in August prior to the actual celebration. So thank you.
yes, we'll be bringing up all the resolutions at least month in advance. That's great.
Thanks for posting that with Thank you. And this is on for action. Is there a motion?
this is Hillary. I move the board approve resolution 27-03, recognizing and honoring National Hispanic and Latina Heritage Month.
this is Benita Isokin.
Trustee Vaughn-Spillman.
Aye.
Trustee Phillips. Aye. Trustee Anantavat.
Aye.
Vice President Weiner.
Aye.
President Shogun. Motion carries.
Okay, our next item is resolution 2701, authorizing district representatives. No one?
All right, this resolution authorizes the superintendent and me as the director of facilities to sign and submit documents to the state allocation board on behalf of the district. The district participates in state programs that provide funding for eligible facilities projects, and the state requires that the board formally identify authorized district representatives.
Thank you. I think it makes sense that we.
Agreed.
Any other questions or comments? No. Okay. Any public comment?
There's no public comment.
All right, and this is on for action as well.
This is Hillary. I move the board approve board resolution 27-01, authorizing district representatives. This is Etta, I second.
Trustee Phillips. Aye. Trustee Anantavat. Aye. Trustee Vaughn-Spillman.
Aye.
Vice President Weiner.
Aye.
President Shogun.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, next item, item C, resolution 2702, alternative certification. Ben?
Thank you, President Shogan. So resolution 2702, alternative certification. By approving this resolution, the board is allowing fully credentialed district teachers to teach courses outside of their credential subject area and as an alternative assignment. So the Commission on Teacher Credentialing has approved this regulation and allowing this assignment of teachers to teach these specific subjects with their consent in middle, junior, and high schools. In our district, this is alternative assignments would be OIS leadership, makerspace, public speaking, debate, yearbook. So we are seeking board approval, and this is sort of the annual resolution tonight.
Thank you. I know we do this every year. This makes sense. There's certain subjects that we want to staff, particularly electives, that we need this for.
Yes.
And I was glad to see Ms. Myers is teaching
Public speaking, exciting.
Nice.
Yes. We are very fortunate she stepped up.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Any public comment?
There's no public comment.
Okay, this is also for action.
Mrs. Hillary, I move that the board approve resolution 27-02, alternative certification.
Mrs. Smiley, I second. Trustee Collins-Coleman.
Aye.
Trustee Phillips.
Aye.
Trustee Nantavat. Aye. Vice President Weiner.
Aye.
President Shogun.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And also Kevin, are you on? Okay, just wanted to clarify.
Thank you. Okay, this moves us on to our discussion items. The first is our 2026 summer program report. Sarah?
All right, so Stephanie and I are excited to present this presentation to you on how our summer program went. Stephanie's gonna start us off.
That starts off, we had a fantastic summer. Sorry. I was like, oh, oops. We had a fantastic summer program. We had, our program was at Delray Elementary this year. It was from June 3rd to June 30th. And it was so much fun to be at. Charles over here had music playing at every single recess that we had. We had a whole variety. There was a lot of 70s and 80s music. And we enjoyed it. We found that certain students who tend to get antsy about returning to class after breaks really enjoy the music and were more willing to go into class and to continue to work. So we learned some new tricks and had a lot of fun outside. And part of what it was is we had extended school year, which is our special education program, ESY, our English language development program, and our OIS math boost. For our extended school year, we served TK through 5th grade this year. We had 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students who were invited, but they didn't want to join this time. So our focus was really that TK through 5th. We had 2 classes, our special ed class and our traditional resource class, and we served 19 students with 2 teachers and 7 support aides. And then we had our additional services, so our occupational therapy, our speech therapy, physical therapy, and vision specialists. To attend ESY, it's part of your IEP. The teams go through to look at what kind of regression happens after break. So we take a lot of data after Thanksgiving break, winter break, and spring break to say, okay, how long did it take you to relearn the things that we learned right before break? And so that's how we really look at who qualifies for the program. And I just want to say, we have students who have been attending the past few years who liked it, but it wasn't their favorite thing to do. With the staff that we had in place this year, they were so excited to come. We had certain students who would often miss quite a bit of class because they just didn't want to come. They came every single time. We had some students who were only supposed to come 2 days a week who begged to come every single day. So it was a really nice program that they put together.
Okay, so I'll shift to the next one, which is our additional 2 programs. English Learner Program led by Mr. Shannon and his instructional assistant. And just to echo what Stephanie was saying, it really was a community. I think there was a combination of things, but all of the classrooms were centralized around the Delray playground, and Mr. Shannon brought music, and it really did feel like a community, and kids enjoyed being there. Our EL program, our EL program served 9 students, a little less than we would like. We have a strategy for doing that this year, I should say. We'll be advertising and getting students enrolled sooner than we had this past year. And then it was designed around three big ideas. One of the things that we were most excited about, and Mr. Chandler did an amazing job at this, was developing projects. So kids came in and they developed their oral language, like not just in the rote way you might imagine you learn English or practice English, but they were doing it in a project-based environment. They built their own foods to like serve at their restaurant, and then played roles and actually ordered off of menus. It was very robust and just full of that oral language, the interaction with each other, and the roles that our community, we play in the community, in and out of the classroom. So developing all of those really important skills to provide the continuity that kids need, that they can often end up lagging a little bit behind when they're at home in the summer. It's really nice to bring them together to practice all those critical skills in the classroom for this time. And then in our other program, we had OIS Math Boost, Math Boost, but it served incoming sixth grade students. We have 2 teachers and an instructional aide for this program, and they did a whole bunch of targeted skill series on very specific skills you need to basically be ready for sixth grade math. And they do a pre-test and they do a post-test. And last year, this was just 1 week, but this year it was 2 weeks. And our data is even more exciting from this year. For the progress they made last year, the students made great progress. And this year, we saw even more impact, more kids able to be successful and reach proficiency in a bunch of those key skills. In fact, I have the data on the next one. I think if we jump forward, first let's look at some pictures actually. You'll see here, Math Boost in the bottom left-hand side. I love the red easel right here. It's actually a welcome. They had a welcome question every day. Kids come in and answer the question, and then they analyze that question in the lens of like math, like what percentage of people responded with purple, what percentage of people responded with their favorite color is black, and so they, and then you've got our 2 teachers there. We've got one student working up at the board, and then we've got Miss Anderson over there working with a student, and we have our aide there. Those kids really loved going there every single day with Miss Schaefer and Miss Anderson. And then the other pictures are our EL classroom, where you've got the city that students built in a project and labeled everything in their city and then talked through it and presented it. And then also some of those fun foods. It's actually really impressive. They built all those foods out of paper, pretty incredible. And then labeled them and then put them on a menu. So developing all those literacy skills in a fun way. And then on the very next page, we'll see our data, which will show really the value of an environment like this. And there's Diego. No, Javier. Javier, big brother, Diego. That's Javier, little brother. But small group learning and individualized support. And really the connection is so important that you just really feel like that community at the program. And then in Summer Math Boost, every student improved in skills with 64% of students being proficient in those skills. And at the start, that's not what the data showed. So it's so exciting to see that we are doing a good job at setting kids up for success in sixth grade at OIS. So thank you. That's it. Any questions?
Great to see the movement. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Congrats. It's so fun, colorful, and everything.
Yeah.
How did you get it extended to 2 weeks?
So last year we had intended for it to be at 2 weeks as well, but we couldn't find staff that was available to work for 2 weeks. And this year, I think it was because it was it's the same program, they were expecting it and they knew, okay, no, we can do this. We know how to do it. We feel more confident and we can do it for 2 weeks.
It was the same teachers.
It was the same teachers. Yeah.
Could you extend it for 3 weeks or would that be too much?
That's a good question. I don't it mattered definitely on the content and what the teachers would feel would be appropriate, because the kids like it and going to it each day. But for 3 weeks, I don't know. It's something for us to explore and talk to the teachers about.
Is there follow-up with, particularly with the kids in the Boost program, with their teachers? Are they aware, the OS teachers who have them in class right now, aware that they were in the program or?
Yeah, and so what we'll do is we make sure that their teacher knows that they were in that program, and then also monitor their data. Right, actually, just today we gave our initial beginning of the year math screener at OAS, and so that'll be a great touch point for us to see how are they at the beginning of the year, even compared to their 5th grade end of year math screener, and looking at their progress there. And then we watch the progress throughout the year to measure how well those students do.
But, so you said enrollment was a little slow on the ESL. How many were invited versus how many?
I think we invited about maybe 19, upwards of 15 around there. Yeah. Some of the challenges when we invite too late, families have already made their summer plans, right? And so that's a challenge. So I think we invited this year, over this past year, just I think in March, maybe even in April, and we really need to go sooner. I'm looking at probably like January and February.
And for Math Boost, did you invite more than 12?
No, for Math Boost, that was it. That's really the ideal number for being able to run.
Invited.
Well, we do a rolling invite based on highest priority, and then we see how many in the first round say yes, and then we do a second round based on if we have any openings based on our data. Because in fifth graders, we get a lot of data around their math skills at the end of the year because of placement and for sixth grade. So we've got that ready to use.
Thank you, Charles, as well. That's it. Any other questions? Public comments?
Oh, there's a public comment. I have my card right here.
I want to thank Sarah Costa-Laundry for just hosting this amazing opportunity for our kids in ESL to participate. I really wanted to focus on joy, connecting with a student and their experience in our community. That was really important to me. And really high engagement with lots of opportunity for speaking with one another. The word's out. The kids are really excited to spread the word. Summer is amazing. We do have families that visit the home country. So we had some that started and were able to finish because they were doing international schools abroad. So that's exciting as well. But we did have it for those who could be there. And it was my third year in a row. And it's one of my favorite, it was my highlight. Summer's just a great opportunity to connect with those kids that just need to be able to be with someone who really cares and has a great time with them. Yeah. Enjoys the learning process. So thank you so much. Oh, I wanted to say Chartwell's food service. I didn't hear that mentioned. It was such a key part. The kids get a nourishing breakfast in the morning, and then they have some snacks, and then they have a lunch that they can take up for home. So it was just a wonderful combination of supports for kids, but we know how important food is, and Chartwell's did a very, very nice job. So thanks to that. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Charles. Okay. We will move on to our next discussion item, which is the summer construction and facilities update.
All right.
I'll follow you.
All right. Before I turn it over to Swinnerton, I did want to just put up this slide and kind of highlight what we've done over the summer and try to put it into perspective. If you look at it, we had over 120 workers on site every day, which added up to over 45,000 hours this summer. Replacing windows, updating over 50 classrooms. We did 3 modernizations at Sleepy Hollow, Wagner Ranch, and OIS, as well as the Glorietta TK playground. So all of these tasks, they come together and they make one goal: for us to be ready to get our kids back in school. And none of this would have happened without the support of our consultants, architects, and of course the board and the community. Construction is noisy. It can cause a lot of inconvenience, and it takes a lot of patience from the community. So with that, I'll turn it over to Swinnerton to go into details on what happened this summer.
Good evening. We all wish we could do construction without noise or dust. That'll be the day. Thanks, David. Excited to be back, honestly, after an eventful but rewarding summer. As always, summer spring is exciting. Quick reintroduction: Sajid Suleiman, Swinnerton Management and Consulting, and the project exec for this team. I've been with the district. Again, privileged to be with the district since 2003 when we came on board to help 2023. Yeah. 2023, that's all.
It feels like 20 years of construction.
We're all fun, to be honest. But again, excited to be back. I have Tara Sladowska, project manager. She came on board with the team this summer, and she's going to see through the project through the end of the project. So between the three of us, we have a short slide deck. We'll try to keep it to 10 minutes or so. All exciting stuff. Hopefully the pictures will, talk more than we have to. So if we make skip to the next page. Quick recap. This is an interesting slide just to show the whole gamut of projects that we did since early 2024 all through till now. So each line kind of represents a project or a contract, and then we broke down the district-wide modernization, which is multiple lines, but the focus should be on the dark blue. That's where the construction happens. Everything prior to that in timeline is pre-construction, what we call, and anything after that is really close up. But interesting to see 2024, we were focused on wrapping up all the projects including the student services at OIS, MPR, Sleepy Hollow. We did get through a couple more projects, Kevin's favorite project, which is our technology upgrades. We could get that on. We did some rapid tire improvements at Wagner Ranch too. So that kind of took us through 2024. We also got Rodan as the lease back contract on board the same year. So a lot of things happened. 2025 summer, again, the blues projects. The focus for our modernization that year was half of OIS, Glorieta, and Del Rey. We also got a few other projects wrapped into that whole summer. It was exciting as this summer we did 2 projects at Del Rey and SDC Portable, as well as we improved the playground at Del Rey. We also did an interesting little project at Sleepy Hollow called the Garden Terrace. So that was also a fun little project. And this summer, again, equally exciting, we were focused on the other half of OIS and Wagner Ranch and Sleepy Hollow modernization. So that's a bond part. And apart from that, we also did one project at Glorieta, which is a non-bond part. So Terrace will speak a little bit more, show some pictures, take us through these projects next time.
Can I just ask a quick question? So based on this, it looks like you're estimating the completion of modernizations around October?
Around September, end of September.
And, okay.
That's what we push for. Hopefully, you know how DSA is, so that's a big part we need to push for. Yes.
So as Sajid said, this summer we work on 3 schools, Sleepy Hollow, Wagner Elementary Schools, Orinda Intermediate Schools, and Wing 30 was a separate project. We at Sleepy Hollow Elementary School, you actually can see the pictures. I just don't need that scope of work. We replace window. We replace selective doors and frames and hardware. What was very important, we actually replaced roof on all building and changed the insulation on the roof deck. We closed the skylights in the classrooms. At the same time, we upgraded the ceilings. Some classrooms received new ceiling tiles. Very important upgrade was the toilets. We had to upgrade them to the ADA standards, and we did. They are clean and looking nice. We also did some selective flooring. We removed all the mechanical units in a classroom. In this space, we put a new flooring, and we did painting all of the old buildings and selective classroom. Regarding the sidewalk, we did some concrete work also to upgrade the walkway to the ADA standard. And we also painted the cover walkway, painted everything besides the building 1. So this was the scope of work. School came out, the look of the school came out really nicely, met some parents on site. They were extremely happy with the work. So that's the work at Sleepy Hollow. Are there any questions regarding that school? So let's go to next is Wagner Branch Elementary School. We did some sidewalk. This was an upgrade to the ADA standards, replace some concrete pieces. We did install new window. This was a selective installation of new windows and doors, frames, and hardware. We fixed all the dry rot in some buildings and also in a covered walkways. We installed new fans at the NPR building and painted the whole campus, painted also that covered walkway. In the classroom, we also did some selective flooring change, and we upgrade some of the toilets again to the ADA standard. Some classrooms receive paint. And again, you walk into this campus and everything looks fresh. The buildings are united, in color. It's really, it's a wonderful thing to walk on this campus now. So that's the work at Wagner. Let's go to OIS. OIS was probably the biggest construction site. We really focus on Wing 20. There is this big wood shop that we upgraded. We changed the windows. We got the new, we will get a new fan. This is still going on, just procurement. And we installed that electrical wheels suspended from the ceiling. And this gives that classroom really, updated, modern look. We painted all campus besides building 1, which we completed, a year before, painted the sidewalks. And we also did extensive sidewalk work. It has something to do with the ADA requirements, but also with the water on the campus. So we fixed that issue. And again, there was a window. We replaced windows. We replaced doors, frame, and hardware. Building 30, we started, the 50% of the work that left there. We updated all the offices there for dining services. We actually finished level the floor, so it looks great. We painted the classrooms, and we removed tons of unnecessary wires. They were hanging down. We put them nicely in a conduit or removed. So again, Wing 30 looks really refreshed. And we did also upgrade for the existing bathrooms. So as I said before, everything look united right now with the paint, with the new window, look upgraded and look fancy. So that's the bond program work. As you can see on the pictures, there are some progress pictures and the finish effect. We can go right now to
I think just to touch on 30's wing. So 30's wing, just the front half of that, it had its own little timeline. The design was one step behind, but fortunately we were able to wrap up the design and roll that project into this modernization work. So it kind of all fell in place. We were able to wrap that piece of work this summer too. That's the front half of the building where technology folks at their spaces. I don't know if you have had a chance to look at them. So that also kind of came together. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's exciting. Just a little piece of takeaway. Last summer, we put in place $18.2 million worth of construction in 60 days, right? 60 to 70 days. That is a huge achievement for any district. Out of the 18.2, about 17 was bond money we put in place. This summer, we came pretty close. Again, not as many projects, almost 18 million in total construction, a little less than around 17 million, again, bond construction put in place in 60 days. So honestly, that is commendable achievement for any district to make that happen. If we can scroll to the next slide. Just a one-page snapshot of where we stand in terms of the modernization budget. If you recall, we started off with the 39.42 total project cost budget. We are kind of trending with that number. Bulk of it is the hard cost for Rodan's lease-back contract. I know Mika and team are number crunching right now, so we will have a better update at the next quarterly update, but we are trending towards that. So hopefully we can close it out with that. And this is given the fact that we rolled in the 30 swing project into it, but we'll take a look at that. So that's the big picture on construction. Next slide if you want to. Again, I mean, none of this could have happened without our bond program partners. Rodan Builders, excellent team. That they are the lease-back contractors. HKIT, HKIT, again, we go back a long way. Multiple districts. We have worked with them. Terraface is district's consultant for environmental benchmark and construction testing services. Those are the DSA required inspection folks. So again, this is only a few of the team members, to be honest. But this is a big effort. Next slide.
Well, we forgot to mention Delwyn because Delwyn worked with us on a daily basis and we bugged the hell out of him. Okay. And he was patient enough and we always got the answer. So it takes really a team of people to make the construction happen. We also did have a non-bond project. This was a project upgrading Glorieta PKK player. You could see some pictures from the progress work. This project was funded by the Parents Club and they raised over $1 million. So it's just absolutely impressive. So we put there a new play structure. We upgraded the play surfaces. We did some new asphalt. We did new fencing. We are doing new sandbags, which is still in the process. It would be done this week. We put some trees and some seed walls, so it's really inviting. It's colorful. It's just really nice to see, as you can see on the pictures. So this was also very fast project. We had some problems at the beginning with contractors, but again, we were able to make the deadline. So thank you, Delwyn, for working with us on the new contractors.
Yeah, the Glorieta player, again, exciting project. It makes a huge difference between the before and the after. A couple of different challenges, like Terrace was saying, we had an issue with DSA and then the contractor, but still the team that we brought on board finally delivered. Again, a quick one-page snapshot. The original budget approved by the parent club was 1.69 million, and we are trending pretty close to that. Hopefully, we'll come within that. One of the planning process we did was to purchase the play equipment directly by the district. That way we could deliver it on time, make sure that it's in place for the contractor to install. So that's the hard cost construction. The actual construction work, so there's a procurement of the equipment. So we had to time it. But I think it's trending within the budget right now. If we made to the next slide. Again, Bill Cole was a contractor, a small contractor, but they delivered at the end. HKIT, our favorite architects, Benchmark, and ISI, the DSA required inspection. This also helps. in DSA. Next slide, if I may. And like you mentioned, it's always exciting and rewarding. The exciting part is, the hundreds of emails and thousands of RFIs and submittals and inspections and all that kind of things. But at the end of the day, the rewarding part is to see the kids excited about their playground, coming into the schools. So that's really what drives all this process. So again, happy to be part of this program. Dale, if you want to continue.
No, thank you. As I mentioned, it took a lot of effort, a lot of time, daily interactions, and patience from the community and the board. And we accomplished our mission. Our mission was to, on day one, make sure that we had our sites safe and welcoming for our students. And it was. They went to school. I saw all smiles whenever I went on campus from the kids and the students, and it was great. So thank you for helping make that happen. I appreciate it.
It doesn't seem like that shouldn't be the bar, but just to open up. But there are many districts actually that were all over the news in the last couple of weeks of not opening up certain schools due to issues. So it is actually a huge accomplishment and how much work we've done. And that's kudos to everyone who's been involved to lead. So once the punch list is over, I'll check off mission. I think it says, so can you actually just share a little bit around what is the process right now between now and end of September when we can complete?
I can touch on that. So Glory at Prayer is much more simple. It's a straightforward, what we call a design bid build project, right? So the contractor needs to wrap up his work. We make sure that any small completion or correction items, what we call the punch list, is completed in the next few weeks. So it's not a big project, not too many subcontractors. And then we make sure all their paperwork is in place and we can pay what is called the final retention payment application, right? Before obviously they get paid the retention, they need to complete all the work. We need to submit the documentation required for DSA certification because it falls within DSA. So that is a little bit more straightforward. We do submit a notice of completion with the county recorder. That's what that kind of triggers the timeline for any stop notices and things like that to be reviewed. So that should be pretty straightforward. We want to wrap it all up in September. There are a few pieces of equipment that were contractor ordered that have not yet shown up, but hopefully it'll all kind of fall in place. So that's the plan. The lease-back project is slightly more nuanced, but again, we are timing it so that the next few weeks, Rodan, the contractor, completes all the punch list items, completion and correction items, as we call it. They also need to submit their documentation to DSA for certification. We are resolving all the final payment application processes, which includes any final change orders, right? There is a little contingency amount built into their contract sum. So any part of that contingency that's remaining will come back to the district. So that's the number crunching that the team is right now going through. So that's part of the process. There is being a lease-back contract, there is a component or element of the contract sum that is financed by the contractor, right? So in this project, 1.25 million is financed by the contractor. So at the end of the project, the district gets to pay back with a small interest through 12-month period, but the district has the option to buy it out early. But usually the best practice is to pay it at least 3 months and then do a buyout process. So the big push right now is to wrap everything up by end of September and execute. The board gets to execute what's called the memorandum of commencement that triggers the lease period. Again, that's kind of the broad picture. Hopefully, we are trying to line it all up for September, October. Any other questions? Happy to answer.
So specifically, what's on the punch list? Like what's happening on campuses right now that still needs to be done?
So the punch process has pretty much been completed by HKIT, who is our architects. I think Wagner and Sleepy Hollow were in better shape. I saw a design team here till 8 p.m. at night to do the punch work and all that kind of thing. At OIS, I believe the 20s and 30s wing are the last two buildings to be punched, make sure that we identify all the correction items. All the work will be done, the correction work will be done outside of academic hours. So either, early.
It's already happening.
Like evenings and weekends?
Evening and weekends. They are very minor punch list items, like touch-up of paint or straightening stuff. Bigger items are the fence that we will place in wood shop and one in a kitchen. That's a procurement issue. We are still waiting for delivery of this fence, but this would be all done the minute we receive the equipment. And another issue is the furniture for the dining facilities. Furniture supposed to be sent on August 14th, so probably is already on the way. The minute we have it, contractor will put this on weekend. They are working before 7:40 in the morning and after school is out to 10 p.m. and working on weekends. So today, as Sadit said, we received the last punch list items for mechanical equipment, and we will go, item by item and check what things are done. But it seems from what I see, things are going very smoothly.
So the 30-wing at OIS is not being used yet. The kids, okay.
They're estimating middle of September.
Yes.
What will move in there at that time?
I'm sorry?
Is there a plan for what would go in there at that time? Or what?
Oh, it's like a student union, like indoor, yeah.
Okay.
Hangout, food,
So in time for
clubs.
when rain starts, you can see.
Oh, yes.
I have to say, my son goes to OAS, and on the first day of school, I asked him how it was, and he's like, oh my gosh, the bathrooms are so nice.
To that story, I was gonna share, because I happened to be in a meeting where Andrea, the principal, shared that said on the first day, there was a whole thing that blew up in the bathroom of there was a report that there was 40 boys in the bathroom, and the admin team was summoned to go see what's going on. They came and they were celebrating new toilets and partitions. It was this whole, this is the best thing that's happened to them in schools. It was really nobody was up to nothing, it was all good stuff. So it was the word spread that there was celebrations in the bathrooms, which is really weird, but but it's funny that it's coming home.
My 8th grader was like, oh my gosh, it's a brand new school.
It looks like a brand new school. She loved it, so well done.
I can tell you one of the big hits at Sleepy were the new basketball hoops and the TK
Yes.
kinder, which were being used by some much larger children, but very enthusiastically. So they survived, but they look like they were, holding it pretty well, but no, the campus looked very good.
Absolutely happy to hear that, and we will convey that to Rodan and team.
So I guess
That's good.
my question just relates more to just communicating to the broader community about all of this, and once the punch list is mostly complete, just to really be able to share some of these photos, and we have to thank our community for helping us do this. So what the plan is for that.
Yeah, we can put it in communications and then also on our website. Yeah. We will do usually in September, last year in September, last couple of Septembers, we've done a visit. It's mainly done for CBOC members to come tour. The board's invited, and we usually open it up to anyone else from the community, like the city council and so on, just so they can see. Yeah, so we can do that. We can do that again. Yeah. So we'll
Just
do that.
knowing that we're gonna have to do it again for future.
I think it's important to celebrate this.
Yeah.
The only newest space, I guess, truly revised would be the student union.
I know, and that's
Well, but there still could be a little bit of a celebration. I mean, it's a bathroom.
There's a lot of others.
Excited to do that for some tables.
But overall, as a whole, there's new buildings,
Agree.
city hall, there's
Agree.
something, it's.
More of a
whole
celebration.
package.
yeah, the
Yeah.
whole package, because we've done kind of ribbon cuttings, but not, so, yeah. It looks good. One couple of things that we had talked about is when you do walk around, you clearly see the new buildings. The painting is so obvious. I think there are some areas that now then they get highlighted, like our blacktops and some rooms that need to be portables. You really know which ones we own and which ones we don't because the paint job. So that's something, once we actually have a clearer picture at the quarterly update in September around finances, that we can start planning for next summer, around just fixing the blacktops. Those kind of spaces are really what's just so visible now. And some of them, they get more damaged because of the, construction going through, the landscaping on some of those. The landscaping at OIS is definitely, it's kind of actually a pretty big priority. The rains, that's gonna get washed out.
In between the buildings.
In between the buildings. Overall, everything looks really great. It's just some of those things are either remnant of construction or just really visible now. They're not done.
Are there
Hopefully we'll have it in the
any
budget.
other learnings that you have from the summer?
I think one of the best lessons learned, and it's honestly commendable to the board, is the fact that the district chose to do lease back as a delivery method, right? And that is truly far-sighted and appropriate for this type of a project. That is the best delivery method, the best risk management, and the best results, to be honest. So that was, I think you should all pat yourself on the back for making that decision. That's the biggest, one of the biggest lessons learned. Anytime you try to do modernization with, design with build, hard build kind of project, we have felt the pain. So that's one of the biggest lessons I think we should take through. The other part is kind of alludes to what Ada mentioned earlier. Usually at the end of this type of a program or towards the end of this type of a program, a bunch of other projects reveals itself, right? So we are trying to keep track of that, see what can be, discussed. So that kind of reveals itself. So those are two big topics, I guess, in a sense. But at the end of the day, there's I always think there's only 5 ingredients you need for success, right? One is visionary leadership, which we are all bringing. Two is a committed management structure, which fortunately we have, and we are building on top of that. And third is, again, in construction world, is to have a really creative design and engineering team that can deliver. And fourth, fortunately, is to have a committed construction team and road and excellent team. Even some of those smaller contractors, they deliver at the end of the day. And of course, the fifth ingredient, if you are into cooking, the recipe, right? Fifth is community involvement as a support. Without that, it just doesn't happen. So again, I think any district, this is truly achieved. Yeah, I spoke a little more than I intended.
That's okay. Do we foresee are all campuses going to be open this summer?
Yes.
The next
They will.
one.
Nothing.
Nothing that would be closure of the campus.
No. Only if we do like the smaller projects, like paving, then we would close it down for a week to do that job, but nothing, not for us.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Is there any public comment?
There's no public comment.
Okay, we'll move on to our next item, which is the start of year enrollment update.
So we do enrollment updates several times a year. And this is our start of the year, just check in on where we are with the enrollment and how we're planned. We monitor, the reason we bring it to the board several times and the reason we closely monitor it almost on a daily basis is because it affects so many things. It affects staffing, facilities, class sizes, state funding through enrollment, and ADA. And then summer enrollment have been shifting here in Orinda. They don't always follow the trends of enrollment out there, so we watch that quite a bit, and they can shift school grade level capacity after we do our staffing, which is in the spring. This actual update will include actual enrollment projection, transfers, some redirect talk, and then ongoing monitoring.
So just overall, we are starting with 2,739 students. That is our, I mean, I don't know that I have seen bigger than that. So that's great. It is 40 students more than what we started last year, school year with, but it is about 10 students less than the demographic projections. But I will explain those numbers in just a second. So this is our district-wide enrollment trend. That bright green border represents what the projections were, and then the red is actual numbers. So what's written in those little side bars is that we have an official census day in October, second Tuesday of October.
Wednesday, yeah.
Okay, second Wednesday of October, that was close. So that is the actual number of all of those other bars. While today's number, and they make the projections based on the CBEDS number, the official census number. The 2,739 is the actual students that were enrolled last week. So we'll update that as it goes. 'Cause sometimes people compare as they're looking in data and official enrollment numbers, and they're slightly off. I just want to clarify that. We actually do usually gain few students as the year starts, so we may meet those projections within the 10 kids. Okay, looking at elementary enrollment itself, we're at just over our 1,858 students. That's 16 students more. So when you look at it in projections 5 years from now and such, we've now flattened out after initial implementation of TK. When this is our enrollment by grade level and by school, Wagner is our biggest school at 523 students, followed by Delray that has grown. Last year, Delray and Glorieta had exact number of students. So Delray has grown a little bit. And then Sleepy Hollow is solidly starting with over 400, which they have not since I've been here. Yeah. TK actually numbers are flat as they have been. Have a little bit of a bigger cohort in kinder. You can see kind of how the cohorts fly. The fourth grade cohort is a little down. I mean, it's just a cohort of students, and that will eventually affect OINS as well. Middle school enrollment, on the dot, exactly what the projections were as of last week. So we are seeing an increase of 21 students overall, and we'll see where the numbers shift in the next few months. You can see that our 8th grade class, when we're looking at sort of what class of grades are down, that's the little bit of a lower class, and then 7th grade is coming through, which caused a lot of shifting in staffing as we had to actually shift some teachers from teaching 8th grade to 7th grade. It's a full class of like core students, right? Okay, we look at summer enrollment trend because that informs how we staff in the spring. And how much room we actually leave in certain classes. I do have a caveat there that over the last few years, we've had different data specialists, different ways of monitoring how we do summer tracking. So I had actually gone in there and pulled kid by kid to see who enrolled in a summer. So this is, I think, pretty close, but not, let's say, exact science. With that, our number this last summer is significantly higher. Causing some of the really tightness in some of the classes. So we were banking on 30 to 50 kids enrolling over the summer, which would have been the last 3 years. And then suddenly we have close to 80. So that's a big number for us. And that actually includes a lot of denials for the first time and inter-district transfers or out of the district, because we just were so full. So we had to accommodate our students, of course, first. And these are transfers that would come in during the summertime or were late releases. So in the last couple of years, really Delray and Glorieta, or that side of the town, have seen much more summer enrollment, while prior years we've seen more Wagner area and so on. So haven't hit that pattern yet, but we can say, I think years before it was always around 20, 30 kids. You can really count on 20, 30 kids in a summer. And now it's way off. So we'll see as it settles down. Just a reminder of
who our students are when they are moving between schools. We have intra-district transfers, which is actually a pretty high number for us. These are our residents in Orinda requesting a school other than their assigned resident or neighboring school. We do have a number of inter-district transfers. These are students residing outside of Orinda requesting to attend our schools, or our students leaving, which happens very rarely. I go through every single one of them. They're mainly somebody who's either just recently moved or they live right on the border of Moraga, Orinda, and it's just closer for them to go to one of their schools. And then we have redirect placements, which our students is placed by us or redirected to another resident school due to a capacity issue. I mean, ideally, in the past, there was a lot of redirects because we didn't have TK at every single school site, or we had limited TK and kinder at school sites. In the last few years that we've had TK open at every site, we've really tried to not have any redirects and serve them all in the neighboring schools. That hasn't always happened. It mainly is in the late enrollment numbers once you've already staffed it or you have facility or capacity issues. It mainly happens between Wagner and Sleepy. This year there was a handful between Glorieta and Del Rey. As soon as we open up, once we know somebody withdraws, we go down a list of, okay, who's next, and offer those spaces for them. So we were able to place, I want to say 3 or 4 last week, place them back. And we think as of today, we had 3, and we're trying to hopefully have space for them as well. So. Here's a transfer student data. I'll say just as of making this presentation at the end of last week, we did have some newly enrolled students that were just not included in the report. But you can see that we actually have a large number of intra-district transfers within. I would say most of them there are areas in Orinda, like between Sleepy and Wagner. There are neighborhoods that are actually closer to Sleepy, or they even have a bus service that, we redirect and they wanted to stay there, or they ask for transfer. Because of that, a whole neighborhood goes. And now we have an increase in that between belongs to Wagner, but it's really closer to Glorieta. And there's sort of a word after our last demographic study that we may be shifting that neighborhood. So they're already contacting, well, in the long run, we're going to be going there anyway. So I think that's where the transfers are happening in the intra. I want to say about 5 years ago, we had over 100 students inter-district transfers, and those numbers have decreased. We do take inter-district transfers. We don't have an actual limit. Some of our neighboring districts are not releasing as many students, or they're releasing them really late when we already are staffed and at full capacity. So I think that's the reason that's been affected too. And I just wanted to touch base on the projections. All of the green are the actual numbers. That big orange line in the middle are in between the bars is the COVID pandemic. So you can see that we took a hit after that, and then we've been really rebounding and increasing since. The blue are the projections. So we are looking in elementary schools now with the full implementation of TK, that we would increase just a little bit, anticipating increase in the next couple of years, and then really staying flat. And then for middle school, you can see the COVID line also, enrollment took a dip, and now we've been increasing the last couple of years. We anticipate increase next school year as well, and then going down actually, and then staying there. So just with the cohort. So we'll see how summer housing and enrollment changes these projections, but that's where they are right now. And then what we do is we really, in these couple of weeks right now, we reconcile a lot of the annual data verification numbers. We look at who's registered, who hasn't registered, who hasn't shown up. The school sites are contacting those families on a daily basis to see, hey, you're still coming, to make sure that we have accurate numbers. We look at the no-shows, those who haven't registered. We continue monitoring our projections, summer trend school as we move forward. And then, as I already talked about, redirects, and then we use these updated numbers for our staffing and facilities. Couple of things just we're anticipating is we committed to doing a demographic study again in the fall. So that's currently agendized for October meeting to have them do a report. And then during that study, we would want us to look at just some potential changes to the boundaries. Not action in October, but just examining some scenarios that the demographer would show. Wagner still continues to be by far the most impacted facility. They don't have as many classrooms. And now the enrollment is shifting to some other school sites. We're also going to be increasing STC programming at Del Rey. So there's just a lot to look at. So we'll be asking our demographers to do a full review again with potential scenarios to see what would it look like if we shifted some things.
Are we using the same demographer?
We have been, we've been really happy with them. So they do talk about, Orinda, like realtor trends are not necessarily like what you see in the rest of the state. So, but they've been pretty close, almost, I think last couple of years, we've been a couple students overall. So there's no reason not to. They're super responsive to us. And we like that. So happy to answer any questions or.
Any questions or comments from the board?
Questions, I guess I'm just surprised at the transfer numbers, the intra-district transfers.
Yeah, they add
Just to
up.
see how many,
Summer, like moves within Orinda too.
Yes,
Like they'll move from like
That's true.
Wagner to their side of town, so then they want to stay and
yes.
finish through fifth.
that makes sense.
Because we have that they're grandfathered into the,
I think some of them are like TK, when TK wasn't around, right? And we still have those fourth and fifth graders there. They just wanted to stay at that school site for good. And then they add their siblings to it because they want to be at the same site. So I think it's just accumulating. I actually feel like those numbers will go down as we go on with TKs being opened. We did grant that when we changed the boundary between Sleepy and Wagner, we did grandfather in and allow them to stay in with their siblings. It takes actually like almost a decade to really shift a boundary and to get them through, especially with, 3-4 children in the families, you just keep staying. So it's a very slow ship to move when you change the boundary.
it's interesting how it's changing neighborhoods. Wagner Sleepy, now Glorieta Del Rey, Wagner Glorieta.
Neighborhoods tend to turn like all at once, so. Yeah.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you for bringing this to us. Is there any public comment?
Any public comment?
Okay, this is just one for discussion. So next we have the 2026-27 enacted budget update. Mika?
Thank you. This is the report for the state budget that was enacted at the end of June. State creates the budget in January and it is revised in May, and then they enact it at the end of June. So this is a report, what changed or it remained the same from the January or May. If you recall, settle up in 24-25, state put aside 1.9 billion from the Prop 98 guarantee. And back then, we were not sure when we are going to get that money. With the enacted budget, they decided they are dispersing it with the 26-27 budget. And also another thing that they added was they created a formula, and they did another 3.9 billion set aside from 25-26 budget. They have the formula. They're going to disperse it to the school district in 27-28. After 2 years, when they have every number settled and all the corrections are made, they will be dispersing it. They will be contributing to rainy day fund. They have a statutory required amount, but then they are putting a little more than required amount, which will trigger the 10% in fund balance. And that is for 26-27 budget, and we are in compliance with that. Cost of living adjustment is 2.87%. That's the adjustment reflected in some categorical programs, and LCFF budget. And also, there's new mandate for paid pregnancy disability leaves. This is up to 14 weeks. It is districts are required to provide to the employees. And to compensate that, state is giving 1.44% additional investment to the LCFF funding. Another thing was one-time funds. They are providing another round of one-time funds. It is the school support discretionary block grant and also learning recovery block grant. They also have targeted support. This year, 26-27, they increased the special education base rate. They received a huge increase that will help the general fund of any district. Also, the universal meal. Every year, we need to see what the state decide to do, and they will be providing another universal meal free for everyone, school breakfast and lunch program. So how that affects the Orinda? Overview of our budget. In 25-26 ADA, that was not finalized when we created budget. But we have now the annual ADA numbers. So that increased about 8.0 ADA. That brings about the 81,000 to the district for 25-26. 26-27 enrollment, when we created the budget, we used 2751. Right now we are seeing 2739. And we are watching it every day and it fluctuates. So we will wait for it to settle down. But decrease of 12 enrollment, it's about 150,000 loss to the district. We are using 22.87% quota for the LCFF base funding calculation. And we are also including 1.44% for some of the LCFF base calculation. And this is to pay for the new mandate for the pregnancy disability leave. One-time funds, we are receiving a student support block grant. We also received the learning recovery emergency block grant, and we will talk about it a little later in the slide. And also we are receiving the special education base rate increase, but we are in the control cost SELPA. So it's not like dollar to dollar we will receive it. So effects on the unrestricted budget, what affects revenues? It has enrollment effects, ADA, how many days kids come to school, that really affects our funding. Cost of living adjustment affects it. Additional investment this year, it's 1.44%, that will affect it. And also base rate for the special ed. Expenditure, enrollment, again, affects the expenditure, because if we have more kids, we have to have more classroom, we need to hire more teachers. So enrollment brings the revenue, at the same time, it will be spent in expenditure. So FTE increase, TK mandates, and salary and benefits, step and column increase affects everybody's salary and benefits. So this is outside of quota, everybody, unless you're at the top of the salary scale, it will increase the district cost. And also we are providing longevity for that's by the employees, so that will increase the cost. And also just the general cost of doing business, that is increasing with the inflation. So changes from the adopted budget at this point, I'm sure this will change with the first interim report. Adopted budget enrollment was 2751, currently 2739. Funded ADA, this is about 96.8%. We are using from the prior year's percentage to apply to new year to calculate the revenue. It was 2664 with the enrollment decrease. Now it's 2653. That translates to the LSFF funds, 31.7 million to 31.55 million, about 150,000 decrease. FTE increase, we were planning when we were creating the budget, it was 3.7 FTE in certificated employee increase. Currently, we have 4.7 FTE increase in certificated employee and 1.55 for the classified. The total is 1.0 FTE increase for certificated, 1.55 increase classified. So this additional FTE cost, we calculated 643,000. Right now it's 991. This is about 350,000 increase. And next slide talks about the one-time restricted revenue, the one-time fund that is student support block grant. This is for 6 years. We estimate it to be about 2.4 million. And this is to be spent on, it is discretionary, but the priorities are student support, professional development, things in the classroom. So we are in the process of finalizing how we are planning to spend next 6 years. That will be discussed among the, everyone. And learning emergency recovery block grant. Learning recovery emergency block grant. Sorry. Initially, we received 177,000 for several years ago, and last year it was about 9,000. This year we are estimating to be 20,000, and this is partially paying for the TOSA, literacy TOSA. And that was the gist of the.
I'll just add to Mika on this one is with regards to the block grant, the one that actually has the 2.4 million for the 6 years. What we're trying to do is take the fund items that currently are general fund is funding that are one time and temporary to put it funded by one time, which then alleviates our ongoing and general fund for our ongoing expenses. So that's the process of analysis is our actuals come in and we prepare, through the process until the first interim. That one additional TOSA did come in from the one-time money, and then we consider that a temporary position that would come out when this money is not available. So, so we're just ironing all those things out right now. So.
Thank you. Thanks for the update, Mika. And to keep track of all of this, it's helpful to see it after adopting the budget and see changes now as opposed to later. Any questions or comments?
I love this format that you did. Oh, yeah, for the update. But for just a question on the 1.55 FT classified, is that due to enrollment in BASC in terms of it increase or?
1.55 is coming from school clerk. Yeah, increasing hours.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
And I think our custodial went from being contracted to internal, right?
Right, that one. I didn't include it because it's not cost neutral.
Mm-hmm.
The substitute and overtime, it's about the same amount, so.
Yeah, for the clerks, as our enrollment went up, we just needed more support in our front offices. And we had discussed that, I think, last year quite a bit. So we developed a rubric based on enrollment because they deal with a lot of families, more families, and it's just not able to do. Hopefully we'll lower the overtime pay too.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
Yeah, just thank you as always for making it very clear and breaking it down for us.
Thanks, Mika. Any public comment?
There's no comment.
Okay, then we will move on. Our next item, legal services, our quarterly update.
Yes, this is me. This is the annual report for how 25-26 ended. It increased, but I would like to note that this is including the one-time nature area related legal cost, and we just simply had more cases that required legal advice.
Our costs are really, I would say the three main categories within our legal costs, because we monitor this in a lot of detail, because it's a big nature area. I mean, sale of property is not easy to negotiate, which we do not anticipate at any point coming back right now with regards to legal costs. And then the special education cases, as Mika mentioned, and then some VASC-related legal. We are hoping not to repeat this year, because this is something that's actually quite a bit in comparison to prior years.
Thanks for keeping track of it. And yeah, and to state the obvious, it's way higher than it's been in several years, which is of course not great. But there are some big items in there that explain why. But we just need to keep monitoring it and lowering the cost as much as possible. Okay, so any public comment? So that brings us to Measure E&I implementation. Our first item being reimbursement payment to HKIT DSA reopening fees.
This is to request approval for $2,750 to reimburse HKIT, who is our architect of record for DSA reopening fees associated with previous bond projects. These fees are required by DSA to complete the final certification and closeout process.
Seems pretty straightforward to me. Any comments or questions for Dale? No. Any public comment?
There's no public comment.
Okay, this is on for action. Is there a motion?
This is Hillary. I move that the board approve the reimbursement payment to HKIT.
This is Ed, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up, a change order from Terra Verde Energy. Back to Dylan.
No, it's change order from
BPX.
BPX Printing and Graphics.
I'm sorry, I'm reading off of.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
sorry.
that's me.
Sorry.
Yeah.
As I said, never mind. Graphics.
This is just requesting approval for $708.97 for additional drawing sets for our DSA inspectors of record to complete the inspection certifications and closeout process for DSA.
Thank you. So straightforward. Any questions or comments? Okay, this one is on for action. Is there a motion?
This is Hillary. I move the board approve the purchase of additional project drawing sets.
Ed, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks, Dylan. All right, that brings us to our board policies. Items listed under the board policy section are typically updates and new policies or administrative regulations that have been recommended by the California School Boards Association. These policies are generally acted on by the Board of Trustees in one motion. There is no discussion of specific policies before the board vote unless a member of the board staff or public requests specific items to be discussed and or removed from the board policy section. It is understood that the administration recommends approval of all board policies as presented. Each item in the board policy section approved by the board shall be deemed to have been considered in full and adopted as recommended. Is there any public comment?
There's no public comment.
Okay, this is on for action.
This is Hillary. I recommend that the board approve, I move that the board approve board policies in 9B through L.
This is Nita, I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up, our communications and announcements. Charles?
Good evening, members of the board, district leadership, teachers, staff, and Orinda community members. My name is Charles Shannon, president of the Orinda Education Association, and I'm honored to stand here tonight as we kick off another exciting school year. First, I want to celebrate the extraordinary dedication of our teachers and certificated staff. Prior to the official start of school, our educators were hard at work, organizing learning spaces, refining curriculum, and preparing to foster a warm, inspiring environment. The passion, purpose, and care of our teachers bring into our schools every single day are what drives student success and define our community. I really want to extend our deepest gratitude to the Orinda community. Thanks to your generous support and measures E&I, our schools have undergone vital district-wide modernizations. From essential infrastructure improvements like HVAC systems and electrical upgrades to new dual-pane energy-efficient windows, classroom installation, ADA accessibility enhancements, and updated learning spaces across our campuses. These voter-approved bond projects directly elevate the daily teaching and learning environment for our students and staff. It's greatly appreciated. Finally, I'm thrilled to welcome our new hires to the Orinda family. To our new educators and specialists, you are joining a deeply compassionate and collaborative team. We are eager to learn from your fresh perspectives and talents you bring. And OEA is proud to champion you as you begin this journey with us. Thank you to our board, administration, and community for your ongoing partnership. Together, we are set up for an incredible school year ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Okay, don't see anybody from CSCA, so any cabinet updates?
Yes, a couple of things. We just really great start of the year. Just wanted to say we're in our second week, 4 days last week, and it's really just a very smooth and positive start. We're doing these really great things. We did implement a couple of really big initiatives this year, and that's our homework policy. We spent some time training our teachers and staff, and then a lot of communications will be going at back to school nights by our staff. And then our new schedule, you might have heard. Some are finding it more confusing, even though it actually is less drop-offs and pickups than in the past, but it is a new schedule. We definitely have things to iron out. We are currently on an assessment schedule. Next week will be a regular schedule, so we're going to monitor how this whole first month is going. We've had mainly in the classroom is fine. Assessments are going okay. It's really just ironing out the pickups and drop-off basket times and such. So that will be happening in the first month. We'll have a full report to you in September. A board meeting, good PD days. Yeah, so great PD days, new teacher orientation. I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that.
New teacher orientation, so great. The teachers, the staff that were in here, they were thrilled with working together. A lot of them were vets, but new to us. And Sarah, I don't know, echo this, but it was so great to see the excitement, the expertise coming in. It was impressive.
Yeah, it was a week we have now named Welcome Week. It was exciting. We had events for staff every single day for different groups. So starting from Monday, when we had over 60 teachers join us for collaboration with their new team, and whether they were veterans or they got brand new folks. That was great to see this place really packed, a lot of energy in here. And then we had our orientation, and sites also got to do their welcome on the Thursday. And then we did our district welcome on the Friday, which is always fun. A lot of great energy at the beginning with celebrating the longevity of employees who have been here for, oh my gosh, this year it went up to 30 years. Yeah, pretty impressive. And then the excitement of bringing on new people. And then the day was really successful. The morning, we had so many Orinda teachers step into lead sessions, the most I've ever had in my experience here. So that was really fun. And then we balanced that with also the key pieces of implementation, like making sure teachers are feeling more confident and aware, and the homework policy, kindergarten, first grade teachers with morning and afternoon reading groups, or formerly early late as well. So there were all those, it's always a balance of that fun, invigorating welcome with sessions that teachers are interested in going to maybe learn a new practice or try something new, and then also giving them the collaboration time and training they need in some of the new things we're implementing.
And as someone new to the district, seeing just the absolute energy and focus and appreciation to learn and work together and socialize and come together and prep, and it's unlike other districts I've seen. So that was really cool to see, stepping in and seeing just the enthusiasm from everybody. it was noticeable.
Great structure. Thank you. And that's it. We'll just say we're fully staffed. We have all those new kids and we are fully staffed. So HR has been busy. Outside of a couple of classified positions, really all of our classrooms are staffed up and that's huge. So.
It's great. Set. Thank you. Dale, we already heard from you too. Have your review.
Yeah.
Are there any board updates? Do you have anything?
Looking forward to the back to school nights this week. Say Thursday. So looking forward to seeing all the new updates that Dylan and the team implemented.
I'll just add, we do have the school bus meeting next week, so it's and it's a fun start to the school year, but as the schedules are settling down, it's a little iron out the kinks. And I think the new system for Orinda is working well. That we set up for this year, and I'll order a program after.
I'm too just looking forward to back to school night and meeting all the teachers and seeing the classrooms.
Just excited to be back. I'm looking forward to when we do our site visits. I don't have any kids anymore, but that's lights here, but I love the energy of being back, really feeling that positive start.
Thank you. I think I have a lot that starts to get going next week. We have a 2x2 meeting next week, board meeting council. Soon after that, we have our board workshop, which I'm looking forward to. And then just getting back into it. So stuff coming up. That's no need to report. All right, well, that's it. We'll move on to our consent calendar. Items listed on the consent calendar are considered to be routine and are acted on by the Board of Trustees in one motion. There is no discussion of these items before the board vote unless a member of the board, staff, or public requests specific items to be discussed and or removed from the consent calendar. It is understood that the administration recommends approval on all consent items. Each item on the consent calendar approved by the board shall be deemed to have been considered in full and adopted as recommended. Is there a motion?
So I'm going to move that we approve the consent calendar. This is a second.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion carries. All right, that takes us to our future agenda items.
Okay, we have as Keaton just mentioned, we have a board workshop on September 3rd, which is mainly focusing on annual goal setting. September 14th, we will, as I just mentioned, school schedule implementation. We'll also have a technology update, audited actuals, and more facilities. So, and then October 19th, assessment reports, demographer study, and we'll do an nature area update, amongst many other things. So, if there's anything else that the board would like to see, I sent a tentative schedule for the future board meetings, so just let me know.
Thank you. All right, there's no other questions or comments with that one. It leads us to adjournment. Is there a motion?
So Hillary, I move that we adjourn our meeting.
This is the meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.